Right, so opening up the box, nice big controller in there. And the first thing I done to take the controller out of the box was what I do with my XDJRX. I hold it by the screen, forgetting that the screen is adjustable, movable, and you can't carry it like this. So that's the first thing I realized, how to carry it properly. I nearly broke it. Something I need to remember when trying to get this out of the flight case that I am going to buy for it, and when it's actually laying flat with its protective cover on the screen. Now, looking at the Prime 4 just sitting down, the people have been describing it as a beast, and when I looked at it, a bit underwhelmed. What's beastly about it? It just looks like a controller. There's nothing special about the way it looks or anything else. The fact, or let's say its presence, it was a bit underwhelming, really. Switching it on, having a glance over what it has, having a feel of the buttons and the screen and how the screen sits on the hinged support at the bottom or underneath it, and just how the jog wheels feel and everything else. Very solid built controller. I'm sure the top plate is metal. You've got the brushed metal on the sides of the jog wheels, and you've got the matte finish in the mixer section, and as you can see, there's cap head screws everywhere. So they are quality fixings on this top plate. The underside and the sides seem like plastic. Rubbery feel on all the rotary dials, as opposed to the more hard plastic feel on the rotary dials on the Pioneers. The jog wheels on this seem to be slightly smaller. I remember years ago when the RX2 came out and I was complaining about wanting bigger jog wheels. Why the hell was I talking about bigger jog wheels? Who am I? I'm no pro. You can still get on with it. They are small things. I don't know why I was worrying about it. Anyway, so these are fine. Navigating around the menus on the screen, flawless operation. There's no lag. Everything is precise. No issues there whatsoever. So informative, even if you are a beginner. Everything is there. You don't need to know special meanings of operations. It's very easily explained. I think they could have actually set that monitor at a certain position, because just like the RX2, it's fine at the angle it is. You can see everything. There is no need for it to be higher or lower. You can see everything. So they could have set this, made it a bit more rigid. I could see that maybe there might be some problems. Maybe someone doing something and it flipping and busting off simply because it's not part of a nice rigid housing. They could have done that, definitely. But the fact that it's flexible is going to be a lot more easier for other people. Different heights and maybe, you know, different angles. If there's glare from a lighting or from lights or something. The options there, I shouldn't complain. I noticed the touch pads, the performance pads, your slicer, your roll, your loop and your hot cues. They are all, or they all have the same feel as the X2. They don't have the click operation like the RX, the original. With the RX, you knew what you was pressing and when you was pressing it because you heard the click. With these, you don't know you're pressing it, but you still know that if you tap it, and after a while you do get to know how the unit works. So you know that you've pressed it and it's gonna do the command or complete the command. The cue and the play pause have the click, so when you operate those, you know you're operating those. A few things different on this that I need to get used to. The fact that the pitch control is up where the jog wheels are, whereas in the RXs the pitch controls are further down. No big issue, I can still get used to that. Same thing as well, when you get your hot cues, you can always press the shift button to delete the hot cue positions and put new hot cues in wherever you want to. I noticed the sync buttons are further down towards where the operator is. Are they expecting those to be used a lot more? Is this a beginner's machine? I love this sensor button, or sensor reverse. If you have your curse words or explicit content, works very well. I've only played with this machine really for about 20 minutes. As you can see, I've still got the plastic on the jog wheels, and I've still got the plastic on the screen also. I welcome that SD slot. I have music everywhere. SDs, flash drives, hard drives. I've been collecting music for ages. I have music on tapes, or compact cassettes, CDs, vinyl, and I can just use those SD cards and access my songs. No need for me to bring them over onto a dedicated USB that all my other songs are on. If I have a few SD cards with some music on, that's fine. I mean, they're tiny. No need to worry about that. Beginners. What you may not know is, when you use one of the Pioneer machines, you're using Record Box. You need to analyze your tracks before you can see the beat grids, see the waveforms, access the song, to play it, to put your hot cues in position, for it to perform on your screen of your RXs. This machine, I haven't analyzed any music. I simply put in my USBs or my SD cards, and this machine played them. No problems. WAV files, MP3s, even MP4s. I played some MP4s. I even played some videos, and it was playing the sound from the videos, and I could put hot cues in position. That is incredible. No more analyzing tracks. I've been there before when I've been preparing music and I thought I had all my tracks analyzed and I was ready to sort out the playlists, and I realized, oh, that one's not playing simply because it's not analyzed. You simply go into Record Box and you just analyze it, and it will give you all the information you need. Your tempos, your BPMs, as I said, your beat grids, your waveforms, and you can put the hot cues in position and you can actually play the track. But this machine, unnecessary. You just put the music in on your SDs or your USBs and they play. Looking around this machine, the first thing I notice is the fact that you have the headphones jack and you have the crossfader contour control. They stick out. They stick out quite proud. And I've come from the XDJ-RXs and they're totally flat. There's nothing there at all. I'm seeing these getting whacked. I'm seeing these maybe coming off or being bent. But if I'm careful, hopefully I won't end up ripping the screen off and I won't end up whacking these knobs anywhere. If you look at the XDJ-RX, you can see they're recessed a little. They've actually gone to the trouble to recess them, that the front is totally flat. But here, they're sticking out. A bit like what you have on the new marks. They have quite a few rotary dials sticking out. Fair enough. I mean, maybe they think this is the right position for them. It's just I've got to get used to the fact that they're there and not whack them off. Don't want to be doing that. One thing I need to get used to with this machine is the fact that when you're using your pitch control, it doesn't stop in the middle or in the center position or the natural position of the music. Whereas if you look at the XDJ-RXs, they actually click into position. So you know they're there. Fair enough, this has a light, which is another good thing, because you'd be DJing in the night, most probably. You don't have a light there. Once you click it in, you know where it is. You can also see by the screen where it is if you need to know. But the fact that there's a light there is good. I mean, I suppose it stops in a certain tolerance. There's a tolerance to where the light comes on to tell you that it's in the normal playing speed. The light is different. It's good. Just got to remember that. Just like the Pioneer has the click, so you know it's there. This is different. Still works. Nice. This button key lock is amazing. What this can do, what this can free up when I'm talking about time, that I can see, well, for me, that's a hit. Now, the biggest thing I need to overcome is to understand that I'm now using 4 tracks. I have never used a 4-track controller. I'm always transitioning from one track to another, or back and forth from one to another. Not having the 3rd track, it has swung me back to being a total beginner. I need to learn how to use this, but I'm going to have fun getting used to using this as a 4-track controller. To be totally honest with you, I have never really used the effects on the XDJ-RX2. I know they're there. I might have dabbled in it a tiny bit, but when I'm actually at an event and I'm DJing, all I'm thinking about is transitioning one track to another, my track selection, getting my mixes correct, playing the right song, reading the crowd, finding the next song. I haven't got time to experiment with effects. What I notice straight away with this machine is I'm using the effects. And the fact that you can use an effect on this machine, you can actually experiment and it works. You don't have to try this button and it doesn't work. It seems like every time I use the button, whatever effect it has on board, it seems to work. I can use it and I touch a button and turn it, and I can gradually get the effect in, and I can gradually take it out, and I can even go to another effect. And the way that it's introduced, it's like a win-win situation all the time. You never get it wrong, and the effect it has is, it's a nice touch to whatever you're playing. And I definitely see myself using this. This machine has actually introduced me to using the effects, because they're so subtle, and you can obviously reinforce these, and they work all the time. I can't believe it. I've only used this for a short space of time, but the effects are definitely another hit. Well done, Denon. This machine has the zone channel, which I think is very good, where you can assign music to somewhere else. That's excellent. Very good. I don't know if I'll use it, but it's a nice addition to have. The chrome rotary dial, or the navigation dial, is a nice touch. The mic controls are good, just like what I have on the RX. Has everything there you need. Talk over and everything else. Bit of echo, can't go wrong with that. Another thing I have to get used to is which deck is playing. I'm still having a little bit of trouble with that. You got to get used to the blue or the green and the 1 and 3 and the 2 and 4 deck, that's going to trip me up a bit. But I'll get there. I'll just have to be using it a bit more, practicing a bit more at home to get it right. But it's another little thing I just have to try and get my head round. I'm not one to complain about the jog wheels and whether they are sensitive enough or whether they are not heavy enough. I don't go into too much detail when it's that. I'm not really a performance DJ. I just want to play the music, access the music, get it right, get my transitioning right. There's so many more things I need to think of. I'm one man band. I need to think about my lighting. I need to think about other things. So I haven't got the time to go into these specific things about the jog wheels and the weight of them and the speed of them, even the crossfader and other things like that. I'm not going to say, oh, one crossfader feels better than another one, or these jog wheels are much better. Now I'm actually working and actually DJing, as I said, working with couples, working with clients, working with venues and events, and accessing my music and experimenting with transitioning. I haven't got the time to think about whether these jog wheels are fantastic or not. I know that they've got the nice screen in the center. Later on, I might come to use that. But at the moment, I'm just getting used to the feel of the whole machine and how it works. And I'm just enjoying everything it can do at the moment. So I can't complain about a lot of things on this machine. What you can do on the screen is unbelievable. There are so many things you can do. You can zoom in and out on your waveforms, and you can touch almost everything, whereas on the XDJ RX2 there's a lot of things you can't touch, or when you do touch the screen in those positions there's no response. They don't respond, they don't do anything. You need to actually use the controls on the controller to adjust something on that screen. This screen, you can more or less touch anything and do anything. God, this machine is incredible, is not good enough. Everything it has, the wealth of operations, the wealth of functions, absolutely everything. I can't really complain about anything on it. I've only used it for a while and everything works nice, and I've not come across many things that I am not too fond of. I'll go into those in a minute. It has absolutely everything that everybody has been asking for when they had the XDJ RX2 or when the XDJ RX1 was about. The 4 tracks is the one main thing it has, but that screen being so big, everything you can operate on it. There's nothing else that anybody would want in a controller. It's quite simple. It's simple to use. The fact that you can just put your USB in, the music's there, you can dump it on channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, and you can play it. You can experiment. You don't need to really know too much. You can just crawl through it at your own pace and you'll get there. The instruction book is so well laid out. Everything is there and explained very well. You cannot get anything wrong. It's explained well. Just press the button and see what it does. Experiment yourself. Find your way around it. God, those effects. Reverb or reverse roll. Beat break. Scratch. Reverb. Echo. Delay. Hall echo. Ping pong. Auto gate. Flanger. Filter. Phaser. Bit crush, roll, reverse roll. Unbelievable. So easy to use. You can experiment with them and they work all the time. What has it got on the back? Who cares? It's got everything on the top. Everything is there. You don't need anything else. If I could find any fault with this, I would be absolutely nitpicking. There's nothing wrong. It's solid. It does all you want. I've been playing tracks through it. I've been mixing and experimenting and everything works, and it's nice actually trying to find my way around on the machine. Now, what don't I like about it? very minor things. I'm not too into these blues and greens, and they kind of look pastely in color. I've got to get used to that. That's one thing. Another thing is, when you're playing a track, you can use your finger strip search, and you can go forward and backwards in a track. So you can go forward and reverse in a track, and you can, or not forward and reverse, but you can search forward and backwards in a track while the track is playing. In this, you can't. So you run your finger along the waveform and it doesn't move, or along the tiny waveform and it doesn't move. So you can't do that. You can only do that when it's paused, which is what it says. The meter levels, I'm used to seeing green as good, and then you have your yellows, and then your ambers and your reds. You see those throughout a lot of audio equipment. Red is danger, red is bad, keep out the red and come down into the greens and the yellows, they're safe. This having the greens and the blues, you know, I need to get familiar with that. It's not a big deal, but it would look so much nicer if those colors were a bit different. The red, green, yellow, orange and blue of the XDJ-RX are so much nicer than the blue, the white and the green and the pastely look of these. I'm going to be real cheeky and say, yeah, Denon, it's a fantastic machine. You've answered what everybody was asking for. They've got it now. Is this the end? No, it can't be the end. So what else do we want? Right. Okay, Denon DJ. I've got loads of music on SD cards. I've got music on hard drives. I'm not going to put a SATA drive in this, but I've got my USBs and I've got my SD cards, and the fact that I don't need to analyze them is fantastic. You know what, Denon? I've got lots of music on CDs. Why don't you put a couple of CD slots in the front of this? That would be perfect. I know some people are going to say, oh, we don't play CDs no more, but I've got songs on CD, and obviously the CD quality is incredible. Why not put a couple of CD slots in the front of this, just like your CDJs? Good idea. Maybe let that finger strip search work while the track is playing, rather than just in pause mode. That would be good, because I'm so used to that. When I load up another track and I'm listening to it through my headphones, and I'm trying to work out, if it's a new track, I might want to work out where it fades, and I can do that in the headphones rather than look at the beat grids, because sometimes they don't, you know, they don't necessarily work out. So I would like to be able to do that quickly to a song when I've loaded it up and it's in the headphones. That would be good, only because I'm so used to that on the RX. Another thing I love about this machine is that when it's coming to the end of a song, it flashes red. That is good. I do like that. The RX, it used to flicker from left to right, left to right, left to right, and you know that the song was coming to an end. The flashing red is good. It's a good indicator. You can't miss that. But what I have noticed is it doesn't work on every song. It does work generally on most songs, but some songs you may find it doesn't work on. As you can see, loaded up a track and the track is finished and it's not flashing red. But generally it does flash red when it knows there's a song coming towards the end. Maybe this can be adjusted. I don't know. I haven't been playing with this for long enough, so I'll try and experiment and find out how this works. But excellent. Flashing red. Love it. There you go. There's a little shot of the back of the controller. You can see the extra USBs, and it's got the USB-B there. It's got the link. You can charge your phones up and whatever through this USB. Are these two controllers now going to be my backup controllers? So I'm going to have a backup of a backup, because I intend to be using this as my main controller. because I love absolutely everything about it. I cannot wait to use this at an event, using those effects and the 4 tracks. Gonna love it. Another thing about the Prime 4, those colors on those performance pads, all the rainbow colors are there. Looks a bit like a toy, but what it can do is not what a toy does. This is good. Or this is a adult's toy. Not in that sense, but a DJ's toy. That's better. The blue and the green and the white waveforms, I'm getting used to. They're not bad, they're alright, they work. I know that you can change the position of the waveforms, but I prefer them, or I think it's a good way for me to learn with them being in the vertical position. So I know this track is that track and that track is that track, rather than them being horizontal. This is how I'm going to have to learn how to use it. I do like them being this way as well. I might even end up just using 2 tracks, who knows, but I hope to progress to 4. Just comparing the size of the 2 controllers, you can see how much bigger the Prime 4 is. I never realized it getting it out of the box, how big it was. As I said, I just looked at it and really was underwhelmed. It didn't look anything special. Why is it called a beast? Yeah, it's pretty big, but didn't impress me looking at it. Another thing that impressed me was I put in everything from Record Box and it came up. It came up with Pioneer recordings, all the recordings of mixes that I had done. Put them in there on a USB, accessed them, assigned them to a track, and they played flawlessly without any glitches or issues. Perfect. Just like the XDJ-RX, you can record your mixes. That is amazing. The fact that it recognizes these and plays these is fantastic. Having that big screen, you've got those really big waveforms and those really big beat grids. So much information there, everything you need. But to be totally honest, I don't really look at beat grids and waveforms anymore. It's all by ear. It's just the way it's gone. I don't really use them, but it's a nice bit of information that you can glance at. To tell you the truth, I used to use these in the beginning to work out where things were, but I find them confusing now. Everything I do now is through ear, and I just glance at them just to know what's coming up or what's going on. You put an SD card in this, you put a USB card in this with anything in it. Videos, music, and everything comes up. It recognizes everything. There's no conflict, no error message. It's all red. You put the same USB in a RX and it will say error code. It is very particular about what it wants to read. This will read every goddamn thing. As you can see, the sofa's getting a bit full with the addition of another controller, the Denon DJ Prime 4. So coming to the conclusion, there was absolutely no point whatsoever of me producing a versus upload. The Denon Prime 4 is a clear winner here, simply because if Pioneer DJ had released an RX3 that had 4 channels, a larger display, the addition of an SD card slot, internal installation capability of a 1TB SATA hard drive, with build quality and performance on par with the X2, and having the ability to play tracks without having to analyze them, anybody in the DJ world would say that is a better machine. The ball is in Pioneer's court now. What are they going to come back with, if they do come back with another standalone controller? They can't just come back with a 4-channel RX2. That's not enough. I'm a Pioneer guy, but that's not enough. Maybe a 4-channel RX with CD slots, that might appeal to some. I've got an idea. Pioneer DJ, why don't you release a controller similar to the Prime 4, but with a screen that's like a PC or a laptop, where you can minimize pages and have more than one page. So you could flip onto another page, connect up to the internet and purchase a track and drop it on one of the decks. I know that DJs who are using Virtual DJ and Serato that have their laptops with them are capable of doing this, but I'm talking about this in the one standalone unit. But you could be at an event where you need that one song that you don't have in the crate. It's a song that you wouldn't have. There might be a VIP there that you have asking you for a request, that one special song that they want that's going to make their day, and you need that track, and you can purchase that track on board that single machine without the addition of any other device to get you internet capability. You can purchase that song and drop it onto one of your decks and play it. Now that would be good. That would be a bit of a game changer. Screen changing capability with a high definition display, just like your PC or your laptop. Now that would be good. Flick onto the internet, then flick back onto the controller. That would be nice. Anyway, for the time being, I will be living the Denon dream in the shape and form of the Prime 4. Thank you so much, Denon. And thank you so much for watching.